Hello, this is Kim Zielinski, and this recording is going to walk you through step by step how to create your own template for an APA formatted paper. The first thing you want to do once you open up a new Word document is to change your font to Times New Roman and your size to 12-point font. It's not the last time we'll have to do that, but it will be the first time. So we changed our font. We also want to go over here to the paragraph section and right away click this little box that says don't add space between paragraphs of the same style. As a default setting, Word will add extra space between paragraphs, and this is contrary to APA formatting. So we're going to click that box right now, and we are going to change our line spacing to double spacing. Double spacing is going to be the spacing throughout your paper. The other thing we want to do is make sure that all of our margins are 1 inch. This is the default in Word, but if you want to confirm that your margins are correct, you do that by clicking Page Layout and Margins, and you want this to be the normal margin setting, the top left, bottom, and right, all at 1 inch. The title of your document is going to fall in the center and in the upper half of the title page. So if you click down about 9 times and then move your text to the center of the page here, you can type the title of your document. In this case, I'm titling my work Template for Papers. And then the next line is going to include your name. The next line is going to have the name of the college. This is true whether you are a student at the institution or a faculty member like myself. The name of the college you're affiliated with will go into that third line. There is no date on the title page of an APA formatted paper. That's a really common mistake by students. So that's what's going to appear kind of in the middle of your title page. The other thing we need to do is to go ahead and insert our header that's going to appear throughout our work. Go up here to Insert, Header. We're going to choose the blank header there. And right off the bat, we want to check this box that says Different First Page, because the header on the title page is going to be different from all subsequent pages. So we've checked that box, and we are going to add a page number here, over here where it says page number at the top of the page, and the third one down here puts our page number to the right. That's where we want it. But you'll notice that even though we changed our font and size for the main body of the paper, the header defaults back to this Calibri 11 point. So we're going to highlight that, change it to Times New Roman and 12 point. We're going to have to add some text, and the text also defaults back to Calibri, so changing that to Times New Roman, and we're going to type the word running head with a colon and a space. Notice that running is capitalized, head is not. And then what we need to do is come up with a shortened title from the title of our work. So instead of using the entire title for papers, we're going to make it, or template for papers, we are going to make it simply template. And we are going to type that in all caps, adding enough spaces so that running head becomes flush left on our paper again. There. So now when we click our cursor back into the main body of the paper, the header will appear in gray, and when we click back into the header, it is in black. So going back down here to the main body of the paper, once we have the title page complete, we can insert a page break. And notice, because we told it that there would be a different header on subsequent pages, our header is not filled in. So we're going to click in there, and we're going to add a page number again to the top of the page. We are going to add, this time, just our shortened heading. It does not have to use the word running head anymore. Oops. All caps. And we're going to make all of this into Times New Roman and a 12-point font. and add enough spaces so that that shortened title winds up flush left. Okay. Now, if you were submitting a work for publication, you would need to include an abstract page as page 2. Most of your work within the School of Nursing is not going to require an abstract. If that is introduced, it will be in later classes, and you'll receive some instruction on that then. Certainly information about how to form an abstract is easily available in your APA manual. On the first page of the body of your work, you need to include the full title of your work, and it's going to be at the top of the page, centered. It is not going to have any underlining or bold, simply the title of the work. Oh, I'm still in all caps. It should match that title that was in the middle of your title page. Once I've typed that title in, I can go back to left flush typing, and here's where you have a choice as you type. If you want to enter your own indentations for each paragraph, you can do that. If you want them added in automatically, you can go back up here to the paragraph setting, and under indentation you can click this first line, and that will make it so that every time you hit enter to go to a new paragraph, Word will automatically add an indent for you. You see this here. And this is where you type your introduction. It's important that the introduction includes the purpose of the work and also sort of an organized roadmap so the reader knows what to expect, what is to come in the paper. The length of the introduction should be 1 to 2 paragraphs. In a shorter paper, 1 is typically sufficient. If the work is longer, you might need 2. And one of the most common mistakes for students in the introduction is students tend to try to use it as an attention grabber. This is different from creative writing. You do not need to grab the attention of the writer. You simply need to state the purpose and the general construction of the paper, tell what there is going to be. Another thing you don't want to include in your introduction is a whole lot of specific data. There shouldn't be data points and citations and so on in the introduction. Simply a foreshadowing that that data is to come later on. Now in this template, we're going to include levels 1, 2, and 3 headings. Some papers that you write, you may not need to use headings at all if they're shorter. Some papers might prove to be better organized if you use headings to kind of separate the main points or the sections of the paper. After you've completed the introduction, this is where your first level 1 heading will appear. Level 1 headings are centered, so we're going to center that there. They are in bold type, and every important word, every main word in the heading is going to be capitalized. So we'll do that there for the purpose of our template. It's level 1 heading and it's the first one. Now, much like an outline, if you have one level 1 heading, you have to have a second level 1 heading. So after that, our level 2 headings are going to be flush left, and here's where we need to fix something. Remember how we had set up our template to do that first line indent? We need to have none of that if we want our if we're going to be using centered headings and we don't want them indented. So we are going to back here to left flush typing, and level 2 is still going to be bold. It's still going to use uppercase and lowercase letters, but it's going to be flush left. We're going to call this a level 2 heading A. And then if we have to break down into yet another level, a third level of headings, this one is going to be indented. So we're going to move over to the right by 1 tab. It is going to include a capital letter only in the first word. So if there were 2 level 3 headings, it would look like this. And then we can throw in our second level 2 heading. And then, let's say that level 2 heading B didn't have any subsections under it. We could go back to the center here and do our next level 1 heading. The conclusion to your paper will typically be your final level 1 heading. So those are your headings. If you're using this template to type your paper, you would obviously be typing in text after each one of those and changing the names of the headings. That just kind of lays them out for you, how they should look in terms of formatting. This can be found on page 62 of an APA 6th edition publication manual. Once you've finished typing all the body of your paper, then it's time to construct the reference page. Like every section of the paper, the reference page needs to start out on a new page, so we're going to insert page break, and the word references is going to appear at the top, not in bold, and it is going to be centered in your paper. After you've typed references and gone to the next line, change back to left flush typing, but now we do want to set up a special indentation here. We're going to choose a hanging indent, and that is what you're going to need to type your references. Now there's going to be a different format for every type of reference that you use. So this template isn't going to include specific references. You're going to have to refer to your APA sources for formatting individual types of references for your paper. Hopefully it was helpful to create this template. It would certainly be my suggestion that you save this and type right into this whenever you start a new paper. Save that paper as something else, as whatever the title of the paper is, but keep a copy of this template available to use every time you start a new paper. It might save you some time with formatting. Happy writing, everyone!